This, as the caption under the video says, is the all-new 2023 Kia Niro. Now, the vehicle that it replaces was, how can I put it? It's not that it wasn't, it didn't perform well or didn't deliver content. It's just that it was, how do I put it nicely? Excessively dull. I mean, it made, the expression vanilla. It made vanilla look like triple fudge swirled cookie dough, whatever ingredients. And that may have been one of the few reasons why it probably didn't sell as well as it could have, especially considering the fact that A, it was a crossover, and B, it was available as a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and an EV. But now with this all-new 2023, the new second-generation Kia Niro, well, the Korean automaker decided to give it a little bit more jazz. And after 6 days now, I have to say that they gave it just the right amount, which is kind of strange to say because, look, overall, it's a great little SUV. This is, in fact, the electric version, if I didn't mention it already. It's still very ordinary, but it's become, it does exactly what you want it to do without being boring. That's it. That's what I'm going with. And I'm finding myself very surprised by the fact that I almost said love. I really, really like this small electric crossover. This specific version, if you've shopped the Niro, what version it is, because it's got the blade on the side, right? There's only one trim that will give you this physical combination. I'll tell you more about that. And I can tell you now that this is not the one you want to get because it's more expensive than it really needs to be, like 10% more expensive than it really needs to be. But so suffice it to say that, it's not perfect. No vehicle actually ever is, right? Except perhaps, no, I won't go there. There are a few little issues, but nothing that I almost could not get over. Anyhow, no deal breakers. How's that? So, in the following video, I'll do the quick walk around, point out a few things, what makes it an all-new Kia Niro, and then take it for a quick spin. That's it. So please hang around. Okay, well, let's just get right into styling. I mean, like the first generation of the Niro has a very specific, styling all of its own, especially in the front. This time around, I think Kia decided to give it a little bit more, a little bit more of a dimension to its looks. I mean, it's not the most attractive, but I don't mind that the headlights are way out on the corners like that because it doesn't have a weird grille, say like the Sportage, and it doesn't have a fish face. It's kind of, it works. Look, the only semi-deal breaker while I'm here is this. This is absolutely dumb, okay? There's been a lot of snow, a lot of thaw and rain and wet, whatever week. So this hasn't frozen shut as it did, say, on the G80 electrified and whatnot. But again, still a horrible, horrible place to put a charge port right in the front. That is a big no-no. That's the closest thing to a deal breaker that the new Niro has. Look, as we walk around, the proportions are really nice. The overhangs are generally small. I kind of like the rear tail light treatment. It reminds me of a Focus. The whole tailgate kind of setup with the lights, the way they're laid out, reminds me of Focus hatchback. First generation, maybe second generation. In fact, Focus, that's it. That's what I'm trying to say. The tail end is just fine. Everything is pretty okay visually as far as it's concerned. So yeah, about the blade, the trim. So the base model in the US called the Wind is $39,550, and then there's the Wave, which is $44,550. In Canada, the base model is the Premium, which is $47,883, and then there's the Limited, which is what this is. $55,883. Once you get up to the limited, you have a whole bunch of color selections, and then you do get the full body kit with the silver blade or gray or whatever it is. I don't dislike it. It's a little strange. I mean, the only thing that keeps popping to mind is, why does it want to try and be like a first gen R8? But that's just my locked down mind looking for problems. So in the base model, what you do get, Kia Connect, twin 10 and a quarter, and I'm specifically only talking about the EV, just to be clear. Twin 10 and a quarter inch displays, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 17-inch wheels, and limited. Well, you move up, you get the sunroof, which is pointless in my opinion. And as is the Harman Kardon audio, synthetic leather all around, full LED lights, cooled front seats, heated rear seats. Those are all features that you have to pay $5,000 more for, because the Premium Plus, the mid-trim, gives you the power lift gate, the heat pump, heated steering wheel, and a bunch of other features. That's the model to get. The only issue there, because this is only available as a front-wheel drive, is that that's almost bang for the buck, or not bang for the buck, but bang on the same price as a base EV6 rear-wheel drive. Maybe not the same kind of equipment, but that would be the only issue. I think visually we've kind of done the tour. So power hatch is kind of strange on such a small SUV, but you know, you gotta explain the $50,000 price range. So this opens up to 645 liters of boot space, if I'm not mistaken. It's very usable, very accessible. There isn't much going on under here, although you could, you know, fill it up with those things if you wanted to. It's very deep, actually. We did the Costco run, and everything fit. It was quite nice, admittedly. Now in the rear, space is really not that bad. I mean, the wheelbase, I guess it's a little odd with the door open, but it's actually fairly long. And, you know, so the benefits are right here in the rear. The kids are fine. There's no way there's any room for anyone between the two seats. But, you know, niceties. But I don't think that's really necessary. But the USB-C ports on the seats, very cool setup. Here you get a better shot of the synthetic leather, which is actually really nice. And the thing is, too, once you get into this model, you get the power lumbar, power driver seat, same layout on the passenger side, which is not that usual in this category. I don't want to say price point, but category. Overall, the interior, it's really nice. The plastics are lovely. The textures are nice. I love the smooth rising layout for the controls there. This is, you know, full gloss black. No, it's was wet anyway. Here's the twin 10 and a quarter inch screen, and it let's just jump in while we're at it. I love what Kia has done. They've kind of, instead of allowing it to go straight, okay, I'm gonna turn that down. Instead of it going straight and, like, you know, sticking out above the dashboard, they cut it down. I don't know, it's brilliant the way they finished that off. And I also really like this. I don't know why. It's one of those details that Kia will put into a lot of their vehicles that are completely unnecessary. And look at the whole dashboard, the way it slopes down and reaches that same, you know, like waterfall style control panel there for the seats and the windows. It's really, really lovely. Over here on the steering wheel, good grip, dual spoke, really nice. This is your drive mode button. Snow, Eco, Normal. I've been driving in Eco almost exclusively. Did use Normal once or twice. You saw that, you know, things kind of changed a little bit along the way. Typical Kia stuff with Kia Connect. There's your EV layout. So yeah, I'm down to, I can't see through the phone, 56%. Battery, I've been driving this thing quite a bit. I mean, I've put over 400 kilometers on it, and I've only charged it once fully. It's performing admirably well, but as you can see, it's not been that cold, 4 degrees Celsius. So this is your typical Kia layout. Now, I mean, this is like my 6th Kia product in the last, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months. So I'm really used to it. When you're wearing gloves, you know, going from one menu to, right, with like the buttons for the audio system and all that, and then for the HVAC. With gloves, it works 4 out of 5 times. And you really got to aim it well. But I've said this before in other reviews on Kia products. This is brilliant because you have hard buttons which immediately activate what you want them to activate. No need to wait for it to load. It's a wheel, it works. Auto hold, always a feature that I love. Storage is very decent. Down here, it's got those funky, chop your finger off. Oh, they're not as quick as in the others, apparently. Anyway, so that can open up to a big storage. This is reasonably decent in there. Harman Kardon audio, which is completely unnecessary. The only thing kind of not that I was surprised, or it's an unfortunate surprise I should say, is visibility is not as good as it should be for a vehicle like this. I mean, the block-off plate with the speaker for the mirror, it's really kind of, there's no way around that. That's the only issue. Otherwise, this little space in here is quite nice, and the drive is really good too. So let's do that now. Yeah. Driving the all-new 2023 Niro EV has been just really nice. I mean, I mentioned that the weather has been okay. Temperature-wise, it hasn't been that cold. There has been a little bit of snow, rain, all that. So the fact that it doesn't have all-wheel drive is not much of an issue in these conditions. That would maybe be the quasi deal breaker for me, but it isn't, because it's never available as, or with all-wheel drive, I should say. So you know what you're getting into when you pick it up. But otherwise, wow. That's my tripod as always. I'm really enjoying this. The reasons are numerous. I mean, this is a fairly lightweight EV, right? It's about 3,800 pounds. Normally, when we're talking about average EVs, we're 4,500 and up. That explains why this thing is it's tossable. It's actually fun. And the Niro, well, necessarily, I guess, is about efficiency. I mean, it doesn't have the smallest battery. It's got a 64.8 kilowatt hour battery, and when fully charged, according to Kia, the estimated range is 407 kilometers. Now, as I mentioned, I only charged it once fully, and indicated was 345 kilometers. But, I mean, for the driving that I've been doing, I have no reason to doubt that it could have pulled a lot more. And typically my mix is 50-50 and has been the case so far this week. I don't have any difficulty believing that, you can expect maybe, in the winter, as always, you can expect maybe 345 or 350 with a, 20-ish% loss. And in the summer, you're fine. I did mention, right, the heat pump, so this has a heat pump. Onboard charger is an 11 kilowatt unit. So level 2 home charger, you're looking at 6 hours and a few minutes for a full charge, which is perfectly adequate. It's about 45 minutes on a DC fast charger, level 3, on a 100 kilowatt, which is fairly common today in 2023. And by common, I mean there's a handful out there compared to, say, 50 kilowatt units. So as far as the charging is concerned, everything is fine. What I do like is the electric motor, which produces 201 horsepower. You got your flasher on, you're thinking about it? There you go. Which puts out 201 horsepower from 6,000 to 9,000 RPM. So, but it's a torque. It's 188 pound-feet of torque, which is low-ish, but it's available from 0 to 6,000. So there's no gap. So it actually pulls nicely, decently, and sustainably, as long as you would expect an electric motor to last as you're driving around. So it's, and again, it's only 3,800 pounds. Okay, so that's without my lard butt in it, but even so, it's good power. And as always, Kia gives you 5 Regen modes, including iPedal, which is absolutely brilliant. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then full on one pedal driving, which will bring you to a full stop, which in town I absolutely adore. I mean, you forget that you really need the brake pedal, which, by the way, works fine when required. And then there's the level of refinement. The ride quality is so good. It's a multi-link rear suspension, obviously independent in the front. The ride is good, even over some of the worst roads that I can find. Relatively speaking, for the category of the vehicle, for the size, for the price point, yes, $55,000, but for an EV, that's affordable. I can't believe that's a thing now, but yeah, it's just great. The 17-inch wheels, which are standard across the board, probably have a lot to do with it because the tires actually have sidewalls to help you drive about. And I didn't mean agile and nimble. I mean, and despite the 17-inch wheels, I mean, steering response is fine. I mean, it's connected as always, or in most cases. The steering wheel is connected to the front wheel, or at least if only because when you give some input, things happen. But the ride quality is really, really good. And back to what I said, the price point is an entry-level people's EV. So it's not the most well insulated, of EV. So that means that on the highway at speeds of like 90-ish kilometers an hour and anything above that, it does get noisy in here. Road noise, wind noise, everything really penetrates into the cabin and kind of ruins the chill ambiance that normally rules this small crossover's, cabin. But look, for all intents and purposes, you stay away from this limited model. You don't need the blades. When you get into the Premium Plus, you do have access to some color as opposed to, I think it's black, gray, and white, which is boring as hell in the base Premium model. And for $50,100, almost $5,100, you have yourself a very decent EV. Now in the segment, I mean, it's not really a segment, not yet. It's growing eventually. But that EV6 for $50,000-ish and change for the base model, still really difficult to beat. I mean, for the styling, and you still get a fair amount of content. And, anything around 50, there are a number of EVs, a handful of EVs available for that price point. And some that are cheaper, say Leaf, Bolt, and so on. And then even in Hyundai's family, with the Kona and other ones like that. What am I trying to say? The Niro is nice. Absolutely, really, really nice. I like it. I don't know that I'd get it over a Kona. I mean, we're really talking about, apples and oranges, but they're all fruit. It's really a matter of personal taste. But bottom line, the new Niro is so much more interesting, if not appealing, than the first generation. And that's it.